Hi there, and welcome to Wired to Heal. My name is Donna Korchinski, and this is the first of a 5-part series on how you can make your health better by simply using your words, your thoughts, and your emotions. Sounds pretty crazy, doesn't it? Well, there is solid scientific proof behind it. And the idea is that your body is wired to heal. It was designed that way. It was created that way. Your body knows everything about you. You cannot hide its secrets. Your subconscious mind is always at work, and it's powerful. In this course, we're going to rev up your subconscious to make you better. So we'll start right now. Okay. First of all, I want you to imagine holding a beautiful yellow lemon. It's perfect. Okay, hold it in your hands. I don't have one. I want you to imagine it. Okay. Now, I want you to imagine biting the lemon, the peel and everything. Okay. Bite it hard. Okay. Put it in your mouth and start to chew it. Chew it. Move it around your mouth. Okay? What's happening to you? I know what's happening to me. I'm salivating. Yeah. So what's happening there? Oh, now, before, you got to swallow it, okay? Now swallow it, okay? After you've chewed it really well. Swallow it, okay? What is happening there? You are using your imagination. That is your imagination at work, producing saliva, extra saliva in your mouth. Your mind is so powerful. So in the same way that the mere thought of a lemon can produce extra saliva in your mouth, just by thinking about it, just by talking about it, you can use your mind to heal yourself. It's your subconscious at work. That's the premise of this course. So remember the lemon. So I'm asking you, why are you here? You might be just curious. Or you might be searching for some answers to some issues in your life, particularly health issues. Okay? You may have health problems and you're not getting better. If you're always stressed and you catch every cold, every flu, every popular disease that comes along. You may have negative thoughts rattling around in your head that tell you that you're not good enough. You'll never amount to anything. Everyone else is better than you, richer than you, more beautiful than you, and you have no control in your life. You may feel afraid or depressed or hard done by. Your body hurts and you're emotionally and you're physically spent. You may be struggling to forgive someone or anyone who has ever hurt you. You may feel that you're stuck on the treadmill of life and you can't move. You may have been asking yourself the question, why? Why are so many things going wrong with my health, with my life? So this course is for you. Now, your first assignment is this. I want you to write down things that you would like to change with your health. Okay. Okay. First of all, say, I would like to get rid of my migraine headaches, for example. I want to get rid of my insomnia. I can't sleep. I wish my child wouldn't be sick all the time. I wish the pain in my knees and my back would go away. I wish my cancer or my diabetes, my fibromyalgia, my lupus would just disappear, poof. I am sick and tired of my sinus problems. I wish I didn't get the flu every winter. I wish I could lose weight. Whatever condition you may have, okay? Write these down. Now, once you start the tape up again, I'm going to give you an example of, on one side, I want you to write down what you want to have better. But we're going to rephrase what you're saying. And I'm going to give you some examples. When you say, I would like to get rid of my migraine headaches, instead of saying it that way, say, I am thankful for being free of all pain in my head. Okay? Or when you say, I want to get rid of my insomnia, my sleeplessness, you could say, I am thankful for a perfect night with the right number of hours of peaceful sleep. I am thankful for a perfect night with the right number of hours of peaceful sleep. Or if you say, I wish my child wasn't sick all the time, what you can say is, I am thankful for a perfectly healthy child. You see what we're doing here? We're changing your wording as though you have already received what you are asking for. We're not staying in the wishing and wanting and needing. We're always, we have it already, okay? Or if you say, I wish my, say if your cancer or your diabetes or your fibromyalgia or your lupus would disappear, you say, I am so happy that I am free of any serious disease or condition. Or if your sinus, you say, I am so relieved to be able to breathe freely through my nose. I am so relieved to be able to breathe freely through my nose. Or when you say, I wish I didn't get the flu every winter, you say, I am so grateful to be perfectly healthy all fall and winter. Or, I wish I could lose weight. I am grateful to be my ideal weight. Okay? You get it? All right. Take your time and write those up. Now, you may just write the wishes on one side, and then at a later time, work on the positive ones. That's your first assignment. At least 5. Now, if you are in perfect health, God bless you, we all have little things going on that we just like to change, okay? There are 2 things we can do here. The first is to change your wording into a positive phrase or sentence. And what you do is repeat those phrases and sentences over and over and over again out loud, if possible, until your symptoms become less and less. And make sure you have them written down. And keep in mind the lemon, remember that? Taste it again in your mouth. What you are doing is programming your cells by repetition, your subconscious. The second thing you do is use a shortcut. But I have a story around that shortcut, and it's a fascinating story about an early 20th century French pharmacist in France, Émile Coué. Coué didn't call himself a healer, but when people went to him, they healed. But he kept on insisting that the people who came to him for healing were really learning how to heal themselves. And thousands of people flocked to him. He became famous. He didn't even charge any money for his services, but he always insisted, I am not a healer. You are the healer. And that is key. And that is what we're learning to do here. Kuei's biographer tells this story about one of his patients, a blacksmith. He was a metal worker who he would shape metals, whether it's for furniture, for nails, or for horseshoes. And he could be compared to the modern day vehicle mechanic. And everybody knows how important a vehicle mechanic is. We all need them. And he would use his hands. His hands were very important. His hands and his arms. That was his trade. But he could not open his hand, his one hand especially, and he could not lift his arm. So Kuei said to him, lift your arm. He said, I can't lift my arm. Okay, let's try something different. Kuei was very clever. He said, say this, repeat this. I can lift my arm. I can open my hand. Repeat this over and over and over again. Okay. And then that Kuei, he was clever. He said, okay, hit me in the shoulder. And the blacksmith hit him in the shoulder. He said, hit me harder. And he said, okay, that's enough. His shoulder started hurting him. And Kuei said to him, you've healed yourself, haven't you? By repeating, I can lift my arm. And then he opened his hand. I can open my hand. So it was the blacksmith's repetition of the phrase. He was talking to his cells, and over, and then his belief. Because he had to believe that it would work. He couldn't use the phrase, I can lift my arm, but I know it's not going to happen. See, what you're doing there is giving your arm or your body or your cells opposite directions, and they get very confused. And you can't do that. You have to be consistent, and you have to be positively consistent. So what you need to do is stay positive on your entire message. But by repeating the phrase over and over and over again, wouldn't that instill belief in you? Belief that you can do it? According to Kuei, what you are doing is planting the seeds, the idea that you can heal. You're planting that in your subconscious. The subconscious is way more powerful than the conscious part of your body. Now, the second thing I mentioned, the shortcut. Kuei had this. He was clever. Instead of being specific to an illness, like a headache, like a stomach ache, or whatever disease or condition you may have, Kuei coined this phrase. And he had people repeat it. He said, every day and every way, I am getting better and better. Every day and every way, I am getting better and better. And I've added one more better, just to emphasize it. Every day and every way, I am better and better and better. Kuei suggests you repeat the phrase 20 times in the morning and 20 times in the evening and throughout the day, and just say it out loud if you can. So here we are. We are working on your subconscious. And your cells have brains. Yeah. I had to learn that in my research. That was interesting. Because they know and they hear you. All your cells. Let's go back to the lemon. You didn't instruct your brain, oh, okay, lemon, okay, brain, trigger the saliva so I can create more saliva in my mouth when I'm thinking of biting into this lemon. So, your cells have brains. I want you to start thinking of yourself as a healer. In the same way the blacksmith became his own healer, I want you to think of yourself as your own healer. What we're doing is opening your mind to the possibility of healing yourself, no matter how impossible that may seem. In other words, we don't let our logical brain get in the way of our healing, because we open the way for our subconscious to do the healing, okay? You know, there are two levels, because one is the physical, and then there's all the other stuff, the subconscious. Now, remember when you were a kid, we've been healing ourselves for years. Remember the time you were a kid and you fell and you scraped your knee and you came in the house crying and your parents put a bandage on it, you know, or you fell off the swing and broke your arm, or when you really had a bad cold and a fever, or you had to have surgery, maybe your tonsils out or your appendix out. You got better every time, didn't you? Yeah, you healed. Because your body knows what to do physically. They're designed that way to heal. You know that. You cut yourself, you cut your finger, it heals. I'm simply taking this whole philosophy just to another level, because you are already a healer. Your body's ability, natural ability to heal that scraped knee, or even to heal a broken bone, or heal a sprained ankle, or you can also go further and heal conditions that may need maybe some other help, like a migraine headache. You know, we're used to being told, oh, you have to take this medication for it, or arthritis, you take this medication, or you have to have this surgery, or all kinds of things, especially medications and surgeries, okay? Keep that. So we're taking your own healing to another level, okay? And you're doing it by simply talking to your body. It can be done, and it has been done. And you have tools. Your tools are your words, the words that come out of your mouth. Those words can make you sick, and they can keep you sick, but they can also heal you. What happens, according to the experts, the scientists and the research, they tell us that your words resonate like lasers bouncing around in your body. And those words get into your cells, and your cells hear them. It's like all your cells have brains. That may be a little tough to get around, but I'm going to cite some people. There is an author, a well-known author in the spiritual world. Her name is Catherine Ponder. She wrote a book called The Dynamic Laws of Healing. And she says, every cell thinks. Every cell in your body is its own powerhouse, and every cell knows. There are no secrets in your cells. Okay, I want you to think of this. Think about you go to a lecture in a very large room, and the speaker's at the front and orating and giving you words of wisdom. And all of a sudden, all the lights go out. Now, the speaker at the front of the room doesn't have to say, ladies and gentlemen, the lights have just gone out. Everybody in that room knows that the lights have gone out. They know. And it's like that with your cells. When you say something positive or something negative, your cells get the message immediately. And they respond. Okay? Like everybody in the room when the lights go out, your cells are instant CC'd, copied on the message. There was another gentleman, I can't remember what year, Charles Fillmore. He was a real estate agent. And he had early in life, he had an accident, and he broke his hip. And he had to live with pain in his hip throughout his life. They didn't have the magic of surgery and things like that in those days. But what he did, he believed that the human mind and the body had cells. He called them atom-smashing power. Talked to himself, and he healed his hip. And he was so taken by that he became a spiritual leader. And he formed his own church. He said, in the mind, I'm quoting this, in the mind, man can generate every medicine that is necessary for the upbuilding and restoring of the body. You can literally rebuild your body cell by cell by rebuilding your thinking. So what is the lesson here? The lesson is your thoughts have power. Your feelings have power. Repetition is power. Remember the blacksmith? Okay. Now let's take a look at the words that we speak. Negative words and negative thinking make a difference. Now, in the same way that the thought of the lemon automatically makes you salivate, your words can create health or they can create illness because your body was designed to heal itself. Remember that scratch on your knee or your broken arm when you fell off the swing? Your body was designed to heal itself, to rebuild itself, to fend off invaders like bacteria and viruses, fungi, through our natural immunity. But our words, our thoughts, and our feelings can wipe all that good that the immune system is designed to do. Research scientists Dr. Andrew Newberg and Mark Robert Waldman, in their book Words Can Change Your Brain, talk about a psychology study which says that the chemicals produced by your brain when you read or you say the word no actually interrupt the way your brain works and functions. The word no. And they interrupt your body's natural healing process. The word no, simple N-O. The brain releases chemicals, according to the study, that when you say the word no, it interferes with logical reason, language, processing, and communication and healing. Now, how many times a day do we say no? And especially if we have children. No, 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 no. Repeat the word. No, 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 no. How does that feel? This applies to all negative thinking, negative words, not just the word no. The word no interrupt or disrupt your sleep, your appetite, your happiness, your longevity, and your health. And the more you say negative words and thoughts, and the more you drag yourself down. There's another thing. How many of you have ever told a lie? Even a small fib. I have. Sometimes I feel, well, I have to. But there's science behind that too. The spiritual writer Catherine Ponder says that telling a lie involves real work for the body. Your metabolism, your pulse rate, your blood pressure all speed up when you lie. In other words, your body is a little tattletale. Well, look at the lie detector test. That's the whole basis of a lie detector test. It's so easy to sabotage your own health if you are dwelling on negatives. A colleague of mine sent out a Facebook page a while ago. Kathy, lovely lady. Oh, I used to do Ukrainian dancing with Kathy. She's a character. On her Facebook page, there was a photo of her standing by her fridge and looking down at a jar of mayonnaise, and it was spread all over her kitchen floor. Now, if that happened to you, what would you say? What words would come out of your mouth? I know what words probably would come out of my mouth until I started learning about this. And what happens is we say pretty awful things sometimes when things like that happen. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Curse words. But when you use negative words or curse words, you attract powerful negative energy to yourself and to your body and to your cells. And you interrupt the body's natural healing process because the body can't deal with healing and breaking down at the same time. So when you're breaking down your body and you're giving it negatives, you're not healing. And it's so easy to slip into that negative thought or that negative thinking when something like a jar of mayonnaise splashes all over your floor. We've all done it. You stub your toe, or somebody's mean to you, or somebody takes a customer away from you. That's serious. I would like you to now write down a few things that you would say automatically if something like that happened to you. Whether somebody cuts you off in traffic and gives you the finger, which is not very nice. Someone blames you for something that you have not done. Or somebody drops a glass of red wine on your white carpet or your light colored carpet, or you slip and fall on a patch of ice. There is something you can do about it. Take them one by one. Say you stub your toe. Oh, and you say, okay, next time when I get up, I'll put the lights on and won't rush to the washroom. Or someone cuts you off in traffic, you think, maybe they're having a bad day. Or if you're blamed for something you haven't done, maybe talk to the person and say, okay, let's work at getting our facts straight, if you can. Doesn't always happen. Or if a glass of red wine gets spilled on your light-colored rug or your carpet, say, I guess we better get the club soda out. Let's mop it up. So, what's the big deal about negative words? Why are they so harmful? How do they make us unhealthy? Let's go back to Catherine Ponder in her book, The Dynamic Laws of Healing. She says, our bodies are constantly healing and repairing our cells, nourishing tissues and wounds, day and night, 24/7. That's what the body does. That's its job. But we can interrupt that healing with our negative words and negative thoughts. And our bodies can actually get sick because those negative words interfere with our healings. So what I want you to do is write down the kinds of things you would say about yourself. And you would complain, or somebody says, how are you? You say, I'm in pain. I'm in pain. Oh, I'm in pain. No, you may be in pain. So you can say it this way. Well, I'm in pain, but I'm going to find out how to get better. But always put a positive spin on it. Negative suggestion is another important part of your health. Here's an example. I'm sure we've all heard about this. Say if a person is diagnosed with a fatal disease, like a cancer, and the doctor, they are trained to be very honest and straightforward with you. Okay, and the doctor says, you have 6 months to live. And according to the doctor's experience and knowledge and training, the doctor is probably right. And if you believe the doctor, you will die in 6 months, inevitably. Now, if you say, no. I was told one time that I was sent to a surgeon because I was told I had fibroids in my uterus. And the doctor says, okay, we are going to give you a hysterectomy, take your uterus out. And I looked at the doctor and I said, is this fatal? Is this condition fatal? And he said, no. I said, bye. So I said, I'm out of here. I'm not going to have surgery. So I went and I said, I'm going to heal. I am going to heal. And I learned this long before I'm doing this work. And so I researched it. I found out, I talked to people, and I got rid of it. Got rid of the fibroids, and I'm fine. And so when a doctor says to a patient, you have 6 months to live, very often the patient trusts the doctor's experience or trusts the doctor's knowledge. And guess what? That patient dies in 6 months. But that patient sometimes can override what the doctor has said. The patient can say, I am living, I am going to live. If you are getting one little bit of hope, you grab it. You grab it. You see, I live in the world of miracles, of faith, and of the impossible. And even if there is a 1% chance of healing, I'm right in. And I want you to trust your body's intelligence. It's like your body has electric wiring throughout it. Keep your electricity flowing, because if you blow a fuse or you blow a circuit, the stove top stops working, or the toaster stops working, or whatever, or your TV stops working. I want you to trust your body's intelligence. It's like that electricity. Remember those 5 things we wrote down about your health at the beginning? I want you to look at those again, rephrase them to something positive, read them again out loud. And don't talk about your aches and pains and all your ills and tell everybody about them, because they will say, oh, that person, oh, that's the one with this disease, or that's the one with this disease. Don't talk on and on and on and on about your aches and pains. Think about the good things in your life. Think about the good things. Nothing is impossible, not with the ability of your brain, your words, your thoughts, and your emotions. Nothing is impossible. Say, for example, if you have a genetic condition and the doctor says, well, there is no cure for that. It's your genetics, isn't it? Science says that. And you have to live with it, doesn't it? But there is another power that you have, and I want you to use it, and I want you to believe that you can use it. Remember the blacksmith? Or if the doctor says, well, you're going to have to be on this medication for the rest of your life. You may be able to override it. I'm not saying don't believe in doctors. I'm saying that, remember, you're part of a team. You're part of your own healing team with the doctors and all the specialists and the healers. You are part of that team. Write down what you would like to change and work on that. That's your assignment. Remember, maybe medicine and science does not have a cure for what you have. But you know what? You might have that cure inside you. You may have that cure inside you. And if there's the slightest chance, as I've said before, and I keep on repeating that, it may happen. Miracles happen. Miracles happen. Remember, your healing is a journey, and it's a path. It may not happen overnight, but it can happen. And remember the words, every day and every way, I am better and better and better. And on